What up? What's going on? This is Romey-Mak. Welcome to 2 Cents, where we talk about any and everything and give our 2 cents. Today is the first show for being back on iTunes. So, we are back by unpopular demand because, again, the show isn't really that I wouldn't say that popular, but we don't do it. We don't do it to be popular. We do it for quality. And like I said, without further ado, we've been dealing with some family stuff as well. So let me get family on the line. I got Suge and Karumbe as usual. So let's do this. Family, what up? What's happening?
Good, man.
Good, man. We hanging. Everybody's here, and we just moving. But yeah, so a lot of things been going on since the last show. We've done a few things. We're probably gonna run over. One being the whole that Toys R Us going bankrupt. That's it's nostalgia. Really for us. Growing up in a time where toy stores were really big, like actually going to a store. But with the development of buying commerce on the internet, and now we're less people are going to the stores, and apparently less people are going to Toys R Us to get toys for their kids. But what I found very interesting about what they had to say in regards to, they're blaming millennials for their bankruptcy. And I just think it's kind of bogus. And for those that don't know, I mean, they're in an article that I read, they're showing that millennials being born from 1981 up until, they said 96 or whatever.
Well, please know it stopped at like 86. We're not millennial. I'm not millennial. No. Generation didn't mess that up already.
Yeah, that's what the thing put down. They put down as 81 to 96, but we can, whatever. Because, and the reason why they blame millennials is because they're college educated, and what else? Yeah, they said they're college educated, and what else did they put that? They said they're college educated and they're not having kids until later on in life. Is what they're saying.
Whereas,
yeah, so
it's overpriced. They need to lower these prices of these daggone kid toys. It seems like every year the price goes up on daggone toys. I need something cheaper at Walmart or Amazon or something like that. Toys R Us is overpriced.
Yeah, well, personally, I just feel like they I don't think they manage change very well. You have to, and when in business, you have to manage, going like what's current. You have to manage differences in pricing, your competition, and what you can do to improve. And I want to say knock out competition, but just be competitive in your own way. And I don't feel like Toys R Us adapted well with that. That's really what the issue was. And they of course they could have done just what like Amazon has done. They could have done what Barnes and Nobles did with like the Nook and all these things, like to really bring in revenue. But I guess they kind of just fell behind on the times, and before they knew it was too late.
Yeah, let me pause before. When was the last time you seen a commercial about Toys R Us?
I don't know what happened to Jeffrey. I used to like going to see Jeffrey at Toys R Us. Growing up, at one point in time, my mom worked there, and I would get like a little Pez candy or whatever. Like you have like a particular like character or something like that, and it has that cough drop. It tastes like some shit, like some medicine or whatever, the type of candy that it would have. But nothing really to brag about. And yeah, that's nothing to brag about. But it would always be like towards the register, like as you're ready to leave. That's got like that candy you would beg your mom for before you would leave the store. But yeah, Toys R Us, they are they're about to go bankrupt. And I saw that I guess now that they're going bankrupt, that what is it? KB Toys is about to come back out. I don't know what them going bankrupt has to do with them, to decide that they're going to be back in business. But hey, that's still keeping the toy store thing alive. Yeah, yeah. But let me ask you guys. I mean, why do you feel like when you're in your own opinion, why do you feel like they're going bankrupt?
Look, advertising, it hasn't changed. Nothing's new. Like, what is new about Toys R Us? Like, even their Babies R Us stores have, they're pretty much groundbreaking things too. And,
I'm going to give you a real
like,
legit answer.
yeah, in Chicago, that's 8 hours away. So, you know, that can tell you something right there. They're closing out all these stores. They're not bringing new and great stores and stuff, but you know, they don't do a lot of advertising or anything like that. They're not pushing for, you know, people to buy their products. They're just, you know, they're just stuck. You know, like,
Yeah.
I think it has to deal with saying that they didn't think time. And you can see now that a lot of kids, like parents, are beginning to realize instead of buying your kid a toy, you already want your kid an iPad or iPod. You can buy your kid a game. An app game costs $4 or $5 versus $100 toy. And then kids today don't really care so much for toys as they used to.
Right.
So, like, let's say, like, there's tons of kids right now playing, like, Minecraft and Fortnite. That's what they ask for, like, stuff like that. Because they know the bigger kids, that's what the bigger kids are playing with, not playing with toys like the bigger kids used to. Like, you see the bigger kids riding bikes and everything else. Back when we were growing up, you don't see that anymore. You know what I'm saying?
they look for YouTube videos like my daughter doing the store.
I mean, an app is way easier to buy than a toy that a kid might do for like a year. Then he's done with it. With an app, you just spend $4 or $5, and then you can replace that app with another app later on, or get them like game currency or something else.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's a big difference, man. That's why you see game prices go up, and they try to compete with like game prices or online type stuff, but they can't, to tell you the truth.
So I mean, so what other businesses do you foresee like going bankrupt based off of, you know, the advancement in like people buying stuff with the with the internet, and just other.
Best Buy, they gonna go bankrupt. Like you think about it, man, like Walmart and like Amazon can put Best Buy out of business, basically.
Yeah.
Like those specialty electronic stores, there's so many specialty electronic stores online now that those things are like completely pointless. The only thing I don't see in going like furniture stores, you have to like most people go to sit in their furniture, you know what I'm saying, and feel it or whatever.
Yeah.
But as for that, because you can't really like, I'm gonna order a fucking 8-piece bedroom set that ain't gonna fail. Well, you know what I'm saying? That won't go nowhere. But those electronic stores like Best Buys and what's another one of them, Circuit Cities and shit, they done for, man.
I saw something that Circuit City might be coming back.
Man,
They
Radio Shack, remember how a bunch of those big folk closing down?
yeah.
Radio Shack.
Radio Shack ain't working. But that was like where Radio Shack was like where you would go get your phone. That's like really like I would say more so like a phone. Like if you couldn't get the iPhone like at the iPhone store, you would go to like a Radio Shack and they might have it. Or like a set of headphones, or you try to buy like a keyboard or something like that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. But you look at it now, you can get that stuff offline.
Yeah.
The stores are all, yeah. Online business will do better than a just regular mom and pop type business or store business.
Yeah.
Especially a franchise business. If you own an online store and you ship stuff out, you're more likely to make money than basically like a franchise type business.
Right.
Because you got more insurance from the franchise type business, but I'm just saying. Especially if it's one in a dying age.
Yeah. I think like you said, I think Best Buy is definitely on the decline. There was the Best Buy down here in Miami, like around Southland. They closed that shit down a couple years ago. I'm trying to think what other stuff. What possible business that you can do, or rather, what would you do? And let's just say you're the CEO of Best Buy. What would you do to like keep this thing afloat.
Like when you look at it, if I order something offline, it tells me if they have it in the store or not, right?
Yeah.
But I still have to go to the fucking store to pick it up. Like they don't make that kills you right there, man.
Well, they will deliver it. Yeah, Best Buy has that too. They'll deliver it. Now, the difference I've noticed from looking at a Best Buy versus like an Amazon is more so like lightning deals. Like if again, I'm an Amazon Prime member, like a bunch of people are in the world. Every day they're always having like lightning deals. Like they'll have like $100 headphones or $100 like something you would use around the house, maybe like a weed whacker or something like that, or goggles for like $100. But for the lightning deal, that shit is running for like 35. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know if they're willing to cut down. I think Amazon is pulling in so much money that they can afford to sell shit like such. I don't think Best Buy has that that clout anymore. To do
the same thing I said about stores, man. Like you look at it now, like a ton of people go to like a Walmart to go grocery shop.
Yeah.
Not fucking. And Walmart is gonna kill small like grocery stores that same way.
Yeah.
Because they got the game cornered, man. Like you go there, like you say, you go there for one fucking thing. Before you know it, you want to get food, you come out with fucking a damn water filter or some crazy ass shit.
Yeah.
I know some stores got, like you got your stores that have, you get gas points. You could also, they do stuff like I can order my groceries and pick them up curbside. No extra charge. I order them and later on today I just go and pick it up at 4 o'clock. And I'm good to go. I don't have to, sit there all day and spend my time in the store.
Right.
And it's very convenient, things like that. Gas points, yes, this thing. You give me a card, or what's it, the grocery store Kroger, for instance.
Yeah.
What they do, if you spend, you're a member, you buy what is it, not a gift card. What are those cards that we get? They have like the iTunes card. You get points on your gas, or you get points towards like a free coffee or somewhere, something like that. Some little incentives that make you want to stay.
I give a fuck about that gas though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how they keep people. Even now some stores, they have credit cards.
I feel like they're
Look at what's the store we talking about now? The fucking the toy stores. They don't have shit like that. They haven't changed with. Like you said, they don't cater to people. Then they have a seasonal business.
Yeah.
That usually runs seasonal. They can cater more to people and try to keep them coming.
Yeah. I mean, like it's therapeutic for a lot of people to like actually go to stores at times. And then you have like incidents where, they're having like mall shootings and that kind of like, discourages people to come to the mall to shop. And then you have those that you just love that going to the mall. You've been doing it ever since you was, since you were, I would say probably a teenager, like in middle school. Like that was like one of the places you could go like with your friends and you'd be like, okay, Mom, can I go to, for instance, growing up in Virginia, could I go to Chesapeake Square Mall with like, a couple of my friends or something like that. And that's what you would do. So you just like prone to going there looking for like if you were trying to get a pair of shoes or something like that, bam, you go into the mall. But now, nowadays it's like, okay, well, what online site that where you can do shopping pretty much. And I would say like and boring, I'll call it boring shopping, because let's say you get like a free moment or something like that in your day and you can just be literally sitting there for like the next, I don't know, couple minutes to an hour looking up different deals that you get, and before you know it, you keep going back to that because the deals that you're getting online, because the reason why you get a cheaper deal online because you won't get it instantly, you have to wait for it. So that's like the comeback on that. But now we're just getting to a point where folks are not less people are going to the stores, and so like again, Toys R Us suffered from it, and other stores will do the same. Walmart cuts out the middleman, and charges cheaper. So yeah, they do put a lot of people out of business. I will agree with you on that, Karumbe. What the hell is that noise?
Sorry, that's the thing. The
Siren.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
tornado.
cool. Yeah, tornado.
No, it's like a tornado warning. They
Oh.
go practice.
Oh, okay. All right, no problem, no problem. What is it? What time is it? Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was like that midday thing. They do like at midday or something like that. Midday, noon or something like that. That siren at command post always be doing this shit. But
Yeah, one of those.
oh, okay. Okay. Well, moving to the next topic. We want to talk about recently Michael Jackson's sister, long lost sister, not Rebe, not Janet, not Latoya, but Joh'Vonnie, I believe is her name. Joh'Vonnie has came out into the public eye, and Ebony informed me that she's coming out with a book. That would make sense why she's going around talking.
I think the book is out already.
Okay, well, the book is out. Go support that if you really want to know what it was like growing up, not a Jackson, but not a Jackson. But yeah, Joe apparently her mom and her and her mom live 5 miles away from where the Jacksons live in Encino growing up. And I can just imagine what it was like to be a to be a part of such a famous, to be related to such a famous family, but not being able to come out and say, hey, I'm the baby sister, Joh'Vonnie or whatever like that, and to go through all these years and folks.
They couldn't sing, man. They were like, hell no.
But I was joking.
They said she was born on after Michael Jackson's birthday when he was a teenager or something like that.
When Michael was 14.
And it's not like Joe kept it a secret, like he brought her around the family after a while. But I guess the rest of the kids were not very welcoming. Everyone except for Rebe. But Rebe might be the only one that got common sense in the family. I don't know.
Yeah.
But,
well, I mean, I don't know what it's like to go through that. At least in my life yet. I've yet to see like a sister or a brother just pop out and be like, hey, I'm your brother or something like that, But we'll see. We'll see what happens in life. I seriously doubt it. But it's it's interesting, like to grow up in that shadow of such a famous family, such a controversial family, thanks to such a big like a great level of fame. That of the Jacksons, like they're synonymous. Anytime you think Jackson, the first thing you think about is Michael, of course, but just the family alone. So now,
Tito, what's wrong with you?
Tito, Negro, please, no. You might think about Tito's eyebrows or something like that. He got those Joe eyebrows, them shit's dark, thick, or whatever. But yeah, I don't see I would I have been welcoming to my sister, and with that level of fame, I don't know. I don't know because it's different then. It's like it's all about then it's about image. At that standpoint, how Michael was about his shit. Michael's a control freak. He controlled everything. Everything that came out,
They had that shit on YouTube about Michael Jackson's shady moments. This shit is hilarious.
Yeah, Michael's a control freak. Was a control freak to the highest degree. But can you just imagine, like, you going to school and you're like, hey, my brother's Michael Jackson. And guys like us, we clown the shit out of that. We're like, just because you got them thick ass eyebrows, don't mean you Joe Jackson's daughter. Shit like that. Just to be clowning. But in reality, she really was, Joe Jackson's kid. And it had to be. I imagine it had to be rough. They probably do like family trips, going to certain places. I don't know if she ever got to get on the ride in Neverland Ranch, to get to ride the carousel or play with Bubbles, whatever it is, that Michael would do at the Neverland Ranch. I don't know if she got to participate with monkeys. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You still be person to stay with the monkey.
Yeah, she didn't get her turn. She didn't get her turn. I don't think she got her turn to play with the monkeys.
What do you think about it? Why is it the best thing for her? You know what I'm saying?
I think so. I think she probably got to grow up with the most normal childhood of the Jackson kids.
Yeah, same.
I read it earlier today. She said that Joe was strict with her, just like he was strict with all the other.
And he used to,
very regular. I got home. Come on.
he used to beat her eyebrows in. And let's talk. Let's talk about Joe. Do you think Joe was evil? Maybe. Would they have been? Would they have been?
It was almost like what's his name?
I don't know. But would you say that would they have been to that level of fame without everything Joe did?
Probably not.
I think they still could have had that level of fame.
What?
Without him being like.
I don't think so. I'm gonna be realistic. I don't think so.
No, I don't think so
I
either.
think maybe in reality, I think Michael would have still been alive. Because, it seems like he had these issues.
Michael would not. Michael would have not.
Some of that stuff.
I'm gonna tell you this. Joe Jackson drove Michael Jackson to be a perfectionist.
Yep, sure did.
And you look at that.
It's a lot of people that liked. I'm sure back then there was a lot of kids that emulated James Brown and wanted to be Jackie Wilson and all this other shit, Fred Astaire, Gene Kelly, and all of them. But Joe Jackson's work ethic is what got into Michael. Michael wanted to play store. We saw the Jacksons movie that was on ABC back in the day. He said, I want to play store. You better get your ass in here and do these damn dance steps. You're going to make the moonwalker in a couple years.
See about Serena Williams and like her sister, that dad was always pushing her to play tennis.
Right.
Hard.
Right. I mean,
what? I'm saying he is still his work ethic.
yeah. It's
I don't think like if you look at Michael Jackson, he's a fucking perfectionist. Like
very much so.
hard. And the reason he's a perfectionist is because Joe Jackson was a perfectionist.
Yep. He's a
That's why he's like that.
perfectionist too. Perfectionist too. You gotta take the good. You're gonna have to take the good with the bad. Yeah. Really. I mean, because of the lifestyle that Joe Jackson gave upon them. Granted, the kids are affected. They have like PTSD to some degree, I'm sure. I don't want to speak for the family, but of course we see it in Michael. But they also have the lifestyle that, Michael was able to create his own childhood. You know what I'm saying? Like he got what? Giraffes. Michael had giraffes, monkeys, rinoceroses, lions. He brought the zoo to his house.
Yo, it's time you get. Is Ebony Lee?
I don't know what happened, Chief. Let me see. No, I'm still. Oh, okay. Cool.
I'm back. Came back from getting a kid.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like yeah, it's good for her to come out, but it's definitely I know to say that she's not using the family name for fame is that would be a lie. Now, if she want to make her own money, yeah, great, but it's because of this particular family that book is going to sell. Because if you was just talking about the Townsends or something like that, or like the Garcias, who the fuck are they? But people.
From what I read, it was no secret that she was their daughter. It's not like where they lived in the town, who knew who she was. She was their sister and stuff like that. Has Janet
ever brought her out on stage?
No, the second thing that with the kids, I guess, that the Jackson kids was not as welcoming to her. His wife was, but and only Reby, but eventually came around, but the rest of them was not as welcoming.
Well, if you found out you had a brother or a sister, would you be welcoming? Would you be welcoming to you found out you're this fame, you built up all this fame and stuff, and then this you find out you got a brother or sister, would you be as welcoming?
I have been in that situation, not the part though, but
Stay famous.
You can't have that person. You can have the other person.
It's like,
They should have had to say daddy. Not her. It's not like you asked you brought this girl and up there.
but let's just say, okay, now let's just say you get, for whatever reason in the future, when we're in more of a successful spot in life, and you start getting new cousins, should you welcome them?
I think you should. I mean, why not?
Fuck no.
It's like about her your own.
Nah, we can make our, man, she gonna be broke like Hammer. She gonna be broke like Hammer. Goddamn.
It's like she was, back then when she was younger, and Joe was like, hey, this is your sister, should they be mad at him versus her? Like, what did she do?
I don't really feel. I wouldn't look at it like that. I wouldn't look at it like, I'm upset with you. I mean, granted, if that's the case for them, that's their own shit. I'm not upset with you, but I'm not about to treat you like you part of this money. No, that's anybody. You know what I'm saying?
No, it's not like if I was just hadn't asked for anything from,
Yeah. Well, we definitely hope that they work through their family issues, and that the baby sister gets paid. She definitely looks like Joe, and that's a scary part. You got those eyebrows, the eyebrows like him. Yeah. So, with that being said, we're going to talk about the bombings that's been happening that were happening in Texas. Apparently, last night into this morning, they caught the guy that was doing the bombings. The last few weeks, and he was 24 years old, and they refer to him as a bomber. They refuse to call him a terrorist, a terrifying terrorist.
You don't have to be a foreigner to be a damn terrorist.
Yeah.
And but that's not what they want.
He's not a terrorist. He's a fucking terrorist.
You wanna know what's funny? Like we were saying last night, that guy from Fox, man, he fucking quit recently.
Yeah.
He's getting their business. You don't have to be a foreigner to be a terrorist. Just like you said, these mother, if you instill terror in people, by definition, motherfucker, you are a terrorist.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, what? So what now? So now, how do you? Now, what do you have to say now? Well, about the whole thing. You got folks. What was it? Yeah, I think they said most of the people that were attacked were targeted were black, and he was going on a mission trip. He intended on going on a mission trip before he ended up. SWAT moved in on him, and he ended up taking his own life. That's that's how he came to an end, and they moved in on him. Good. Thankfully, hopefully there won't be any more of these these situations happening in Texas or anywhere in the world if we can help it, man. But it's about time that I seen author, was it column writer Sean King, and he was like, had this guy had been a Muslim or a black person, he would be slandered, for what it is. There's a wall. The wall is being built to do what? To keep in the terrorists?
Obviously.
Yeah. I don't know. This is just me on the outside looking in. I don't know all the ins and outs of everything, but we clearly.
Hey, when digging, hey, I got something to say, guys. Don't be funny.
Yeah, go ahead.
When niggas is killing niggas like, what about black on black crime? But when fucking white people are killing white people or bombing niggas, what is that called? Regular crime?
Well, and we've talked about it. That's a solid point. We've talked about this before, and it's just like, again, I was listening to DL Hewley on DJ Vlad's interview. I want to say some time ago, no. Was it DL Hewley? No, it was David Banner being on DL Hewley's podcast, and they were discussing. It's like, you kill where it's convenient, so you're gonna kill what's around you. You know what I'm saying? If you're a white guy and you got black people around you, you're probably gonna kill black people. If black people live in a certain neighborhood and all the people around them are black, yes, they're gonna kill black people. And pretty sure, like when China kills people in China do murders, they murder other Chinese people. It's just you kill what's convenient. Like really, I don't think that's sought out. I mean, other than the DC sniper, I mean, he went around town. I mean, he was just driving down. But even that, he was killing his surroundings. But there was no clear set thing of what he was doing. He was just trying to inflict terror. That's really what that.
People that sends bombs in the mail is not known as terrorist. When they was talking about people sending anthrax in the mail, it was called terrorism. But putting the bombs in the mail is not terrorism, apparently.
No, not at all. He's known as the bomber. That's the bomber.
Bomber.
Yeah, he's the bomber. But I'm glad they caught his ass, and I hope it sends a message to anybody else thinking they want to play games.
Hopefully he's doing it by himself.
Yeah. Yeah. So let me see.
Yeah, that's kind of scary. I have relatives in Austin, so it's those kind of scary.
Yeah.
I was about to say, if your relative does anything, you will not be open to this house.
Don't say Amazon or not pick that shit off the doorstep, because I know I didn't get it.
Is that what it was? That was my question. What package? What kind of packages were they coming? What was the labels on the boxes? It was just plain boxes?
I don't know.
They got it with GPS.
Oh, hell to the no.
But I ordered it.
That's the shit about it.
I've always been taught to drop it, don't pick the shit up.
Fuck that, man. Yeah, they don't want to start. They don't want to start that. Hopefully, no copycats, man. Really.
You know what? He's a horrible baller. He chose the wrong time to do it.
Yeah.
Not to say that if you would have did it during Christmas time, he would have been a lot more efficient. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to talk about it.
That makes sense. I mean, like thinking like the enemy. That would be ideal. That would be ideal to do. To do that. During that time. But they're not bad people though. They're not. I mean, they're mentally. These are mentally. They're mentally ill, right? Isn't that the case we're going with? They're mentally ill. Mentally ill folks. And I want to say something. Dealing with I guess like the shooting. The school shooting that they had yesterday. And you want to give both cases, and Jeff being a proponent of of having guns. I mean, I'm not against it either. I'm against like the assault weapons and shit. But it's funny. I saw one of my guys. One of the guys that follow. We're ex co-workers and shit like that. But he's definitely I want to say proponent for the NRA. But it was like it's very good. It's very convenient that that there was an armed officer that was able to stop the shooting. So it almost like plays into what Trump is alluding to in arming school officials. But I still don't feel like that's not a teacher's issue. You know what I'm saying? That's more so like the people that work at the school. That's their issue, such as like an officer, like in law enforcement. I feel like that's what they should be doing. You definitely have metal detectors. You definitely do metal detectors, but yeah, they should. I don't feel like teachers should be required to possess a firearm. Oh.
I had never been taken in all in my school, so.
Yeah.
You supposed to in what area?
I thought they would have those kind of measures in school. Like, I had them shit when I was in school, so maybe because I grew up in the hood.
Yes, you were good. Of course, they're going to put New York schools, but they're not going to get the predominantly school with mostly white people. They're not in the hood. It's not a low income area. They're not going to do that type of stuff. It just doesn't make sense to put a metal detector in a school like that. That's just unreal. Only in the hood.
Motherfuckers killing me.
You gotta control the animals.
Huh?
You got to control the animals. That's what they perceive us as. Like the same notion that, there's no fighting in the NBA. There's no fighting in the NBA. There will be no fighting in the NBA, and there will be no fighting in the NFL. And they let you rough up each other. They let you touch each other in baseball, and they'll let you get down in hockey, but there will be no fighting of any sort in the NFL and in the NBA for that reason alone, because you have to control the animals, because that is how they are perceived to be, which is wrong. It's totally wrong. I think it's bullshit, but whatever. I mean, you look at all the incidents that have happened in the past 5 years in this country, and what race were they? You know what I'm saying? Like mass shootings, majority, not all of them, but majority of them. So, I mean, I digress. They're mentally ill, though. They're just mentally ill. How many mentally ill people are living in the hood where these black on black crimes are happening that you claim?
This person gets mentally ill now. We're just criminals. I
guess so. You know what I'm saying? Like I guess this incident happened recently. This guy was shot. Well, he's got 3 kids or whatever, and a wife or a girlfriend. He was shot in the back of his backyard or something like that. He was unarmed.
Yep. Okay, so we give teachers a gun. What's going to happen? Some teachers going to think that a student is a threat and accidentally shoot and kill him.
Right.
Teachers are here to teach. They're not there to discipline.
I mean, this is a story. This story is probably going to gain notoriety in the coming days. But yeah, I guess the guy was like in his backyard or something like that. I was just reading a post about it. I didn't really get to go into detail, but the guy was shot unarmed in his backyard. 3 kids. He's got 3 kids, man. 3 kids, and he's gone now. I guess he was taken. That must have been another like a cop shooting again.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that cop is gonna get off. You know it.
Yeah. We know. Mentally ill. Mentally ill, everything.
Well, first of all,
Hey, I'm mentally ill. I play my video game.
Well, playing I would say playing Monster World, that shit might make you mentally ill. Or playing Fortnite or 2K or NHL 18, baseball, any of that. It can all make us mentally ill. But I would say it keeps me sane. It keeps us out of trouble. And we'll go that. For every married man and a guy in a relationship, it keeps them out of trouble. That's for sure. Work on something constructive. Last bit, want to address, and then we'll close up shop. I want to talk about how far are you willing to go? How far are you willing to go within yourself to protect something or someone that you love? And what I ask by that is if you know something is toxic to you in life, really, what would you do to to keep that from happening? Like something that you feel that doesn't come around too often. For instance, being being an athlete. Again, Stephen A talks about this all the time with the athletes, how they're unable to stay off the weed, and I have to say, with him, I've never smoked a blunt, a joint that was worth $15,000 or $30,000 or my career. You know what I'm saying? So again, certain things in life come up. There's ways that you have to control control your cravings. So for instance, with athletes that again, granted that they're targeting you because of your race, but you continue to do you continue to carry on fuck it, whatever, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do me because I'm real and all that shit. But in actuality, you have a job. You have a job to do. And there's certain things that come with the job, certain criteria. For instance, when we were in the military, we weren't unless you got a waiver, you're not able to have a beard. You know what I'm saying? There's certain upkeep that you're supposed to have. Females are supposed to have the hair a certain way. And And that's because, and the reason we did so is because one, we didn't want to, go against the uniform code of military justice, but also, we cared about, our way of life, as far as like how we go from day to day. Same can be said like in, like relationships and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to get to a point where, granted, you've been living your life a certain way for a very, very long time. You're so conditioned to doing certain things. But if that's going to put you on the path to like possibly, I would say, hurt someone that that you care for a lot, and you don't, in situations and opportunities like this don't come too often. You may want to make some changes. You know what I'm saying, to do that, and that's and so I ask. I ask both of you guys, being the married ones, I'm sure you can attest to it, but like really how far would you go to protect something, or someone that you love? And I'll go with mommy first, so Eb, how far are you willing to to go to protect something that you love?
And as far as I need to go, as far as I need to go, I'm here for some details. As long as my levels are protected, as far as I need to go.
Right.
This depends on the situation.
Yeah, same for Jeffrey.
And I'm down to get some teardrops.
Yeah.
That's what it's about.
A real parent will do what they gotta do.
Yeah, being a parent, being a being a husband, being a wife, a co-worker and thing. You just got a lot of things that you're comfortable doing. I think a lot of cases we have to get out of our comfort zone. Like sometimes being in that comfort zone isn't necessarily like the greatest thing to be in. You have to be willing to do something you've never done before, to go places that you've never been. And it gets hard at times because you don't know what's on the other side. But that's the courage you have to get there. You know what I'm saying? It's very well, shit could go wrong. But if you don't take the if you don't take the opportunity to see what's on that other side, you'll never know, and you'll live with you're gonna live with regret your entire life. And the person that was meant for you could have been gone already. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure there's a lot of us that have let folks pass up. You know what I'm saying? Either because we were too scared, you're too bitter, you felt like you wasn't ready or something like that. You let a job pass up because you were afraid it was on the other side. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, for those of you like with talent and all of that, you didn't do it because you didn't think anybody would care. Like you don't think that you're able to be a poet, to be a rapper, to be a singer. You know what I'm saying? Really, all you gotta do is believe in yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like truly, that's really all you need. Is just like get out there and see what happens. You know what I mean? You just never know. I mean, I pussyfooted on this podcast for like literally 3 years. 3 years before we even got it going. I was thankful enough to have, I would say great friends like Ebony, like Joe and Jeff, that was able to, to come along, believe in me enough to help me, just help me do the show, man. And I really, I don't take that shit for granted. You know what I'm saying? Regardless of what happens with this shit, I know where I got my start and my confidence. You know what I'm saying? Like, again, Hunting, Hunting Phillips, the way they rock with me, the same thing. It was just really us three talking about the shit, and it was the motivation that I got because I thought I was being behind, so I was like, "Fuck it, well, let's go ahead and do it and see what happens." So I definitely want to thank, like I said, I thank everyone, for being part of this thing. Granted, we're not the most, no one's beating down our doors, no networks are, hitting us up and being like, yo, we want to buy your show just yet. But, this is us working out kinks, working on our craft. And one day, we're going to have a very great, life. It's going to bring up some challenges, I'm sure. But, as long as we stay focused, we got this shit. You know what I'm saying? And don't allow any and eliminate distractions. Really, that's really what it boils down to. Eliminate fucking distractions. Whatever that distraction is, if it's like, if you're, girl you've been dating for a while, eliminate the guys that, what I'm saying, that really it's not, they're gonna ruin what you got working on. If it's like you're an athlete, man, and you got these, your fellas that have been around you, so many countless, what I'm saying, stories that entertain, like successful people can tell you, that you got to eliminate the negativity around you, man, and just go for your shit. For instance, Timberland growing up, like reading his book, he talked about how, he had his boys around him, and like being the code in Virginia, in Virginia Beach, it's like you rock with, whoever's with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, regardless of where you come from, and they just growing up like in the projects and shit like that. But he noticed every time, there'll be a couple times where they would always end up fighting. Somebody got stabbed. Timbo got shot before, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't able to use his arm at one point in time, and he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to DJ again, because that's what he did, when he first started out, DJ Timmy Tim, so shout out to Timberland. And he removed himself from that shit and got around like, positive people such as the likes of Magoo, regardless of how you feel about him as an artist or not, and Missy, that were gonna go places with their music, you know what I'm saying? So that's just like a story of just inspiration for anybody, just to to stay with your shit, be around positive folks, and if you're trying to do something, be around people that's really trying to do that too, and really just stay, just stay with it. But Ebony says she didn't have a rant. I'm sure she got something that she want to touch on before we close up shop. So Eb, I'll leave the floor to you, and Jeff, whatever you guys want to say, go ahead and knock that shit out.
Fast getting kind of crazy, so I'm really haven't had much of a rant lately. My mind is elsewhere. Actually, moving on. I'm like, people checking your health, make sure you're all right. You got a feeling that something is wrong. Don't wait till the last minute. That's kind of like what I almost did, and it could have cost a life. So I just put it at that. You guys, if something is off, go get with that immediately. Don't wait it out. Just get it down.
Yeah, like staying it down. So I'm gonna give it 2 or 3 weeks, and I'll be like, man, I told you to do so and so, so and so. When you're hard headed, yo.
It was hard to do this stuff, and it could have cost me dearly. So I mean, you just look after yourself. Stop worrying about other people. I had to learn that the hard way these past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right.
Take care of yourself.
All right, Jeffrey, go ahead.
Get that Prime.
Prime 2, straight up.
That Prime 2, for real. Fort Worth 5-9. If you got there fucking sending people his freestyle and all that shit, you should have been supporting this motherfucker for years.
Yeah.
Because he's done it for years. I got all his mixtapes. I don't give a fuck. I got all his albums. I was listening to this motherfucker because he was beefing with Eminem and fucking B12 and G-Unit and all that shit. I was listening to this motherfucker since his birth. So, you know what I'm saying? That time bomb shit or whatever.
Yeah.
I done heard this motherfucker said, this is what happened with bad meets evil. We smoke trees till we look like Vietnamese people.
Yeah.
Get out there and support Royce the 5-9, man, because he's one of the motherfuckers that's left in the game to do the art, yo, for real.
Cool.
He ain't never stopped the art.
Bet. All right.
People complain about motherfuckers not freestyling on Folk Master Flex and shit, and they sounding trash, but when you actually have the good ones, like in the Black Star, How to Print, y'all are fucking supportive. You wonder why our culture and hip hop is fucking on a fucking life machine right now.
Support lyricism. Truthfully support lyricism. Support the essence of hip hop, all forms, man. Like we need DJs back. We need graffiti artists. We need b-boys.
Yo, that thing that Swift and what's the name did like a couple of months back, when they were like, playing beats and shit.
Yeah.
We we need that shit
Yeah,
back.
you need that shit, and you need DJs out there now doing that shit, man. Like not just playing records, but like being able to know the crowd, being able to know what moves the crowd, being able to scratch and mix, and all that. That's that's all a part of the essence of hip. That's why we fell in love with this shit. That's why it's at the stature it is. Yeah, that's really what it boils down to. But for those of y'all like
I'm big in the battle rap.
yeah.
I listen to like the beat making competitions and shit.
Right.
I listen to all that shit.
Yeah. I mean for the
I like all the elements of hip hop. I don't even fuck with what I'm into this shit.
yeah, definitely, man. And we're gonna stay being with that shit. You know what I'm saying? We know what the foundation was. You built the strong foundation, the building will never fall. Yeah, but before I get out of here, close it out. Definitely, subscribe to the podcast on iTunes. 2 cents. You'll catch catch the 2 cents podcast. You'll catch Romey-Mak 2 cents presents the locker room. You'll have interview with Rome. You'll have random shit episodes. Random shit episodes are great. There's no structure, nothing. You're just going with it. So be sure to check that out. And that's roughly that's roughly it. And be sure to write reviews. Be supporting the show. You watch the show. Listen to the show, or you watch on Facebook. I think I've worked it to where we can do like live. You know what I'm saying? Like shows or whatever with like me and Suge will be able to do it, and then get Karumbe to wear the mask and shit. Like we tried to do that one time. That shit was fun. But yeah, definitely support your folks, support people that that's really out there trying to make that trying to make something with themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because when when it comes time, there's gonna come a time in life. If they didn't give up on it, they will be successful. And you will remember, as much as they will, that you didn't support. You know what I'm saying? Like for those of you that either do or don't, just always keep that in mind. But stay positive, stay on your grind, and all of that. But as for Romey-Mak, Karumbe, and Sugar Booger, we out. Peace. God bless.